hello. How's it going? You know what? Don't answer that, actually. Another day, another injustice for women. What am I talking about today? Feminine hygiene products. Look, I might not need them so much anymore, but I do buy them by the boatload for my daughters. And while I have some serious choice words for the fact that we haven't found a better name for them, I have some extra choice words for the fact that they are on average 40% more than they were just a few years ago. Oh, it's true. Thanks to the Trump tariffs and inflation, products like tampons and sanitary pads are more expensive than ever before. And that's on top of the pink tax that many states already levy on products exclusively meant for women, which of course I've had choice words for before. When women and girls can't afford these products that we use every month, it is proven that they miss work and school and fall behind financially and academically. In a perfect world, these products would be free and readily available to anyone who needs them and would come with a free bottle of wine. In a less perfect world, they at least would be tax and tariff exempt, but maybe can we still have the wine? We could do so much better for an entire 50% of our population. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha B. My guest this week is actress and author of the new book, I Choose Me, Jennie Garth. After you enjoy this episode, be sure to look up spring dates for my How to Survive Menopause tour, now up on SamanthaB.com. Until then, take a listen and make good choices. Oh my goodness, what a pleasure. It is really such a pleasure to meet you in person. This is like very exciting for me. I love what you're doing. I loved your book. The whole thing was great. Yes.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading it before we talked.
Of course. You know, I think it's actually funny because as I was reading it, I was like, is it fate that we met? Because literally my podcast is called Choice Words, and we always talk about the choices that people make. And your book is exemplary. That's the whole book.
It's simpatico. This is our language.
Simpatico. It really is. So, okay. I usually start the episode by talking about like a really big choice that my guest has made, but really this is your book. Can you talk a little bit about, and you do talk about it in the intro to the book, like that moment on 90210, which we all know and love, where you're standing between Brandon and Dylan and you say those fateful words that kind of you've lived with ever since. Can you talk about that moment a little bit? My God.
Those three words, I choose me. Yeah. I really didn't kind of understand the depth of them at the moment when I was that young saying them in my early 20s. But it's weird how things, you reach a certain point in your life where you kind of like look back in order to move forward. And so when I was in that kind of mindset, I was like feeling a little lost. I just turned 50 and I was kind of like searching for what was next for me because I didn't know my passion. I didn't know what I should focus on. And so I did that. I kind of looked back in order to move forward. And at the same time that I was doing that, I had met some women at a fan event where they had come up to me and asked for my autograph. And they said, at that moment on 90210, when Kelly chose herself over Brandon and Dylan, I was so young, but it had a lasting impression on me because I had never known that I could choose myself, in any situation, let alone between, two guys. Right. So that was like, oh my gosh, okay, that was really impactful. Let me sit with that for a while. And when I did, I was like, that is a message that we really need to continue to hear now, especially more than ever, that choosing ourselves is an option and not just an option, but it's like vital to our well-being.
I so deeply agree with you. And it does feel like you can get Like when you're a little bit, when you are younger and everything is rolling and you're having children and you're doing all these things and you're caretaking for other people and you're just like serving the needs of other people and kind of like serving a version of yourself that you're projecting into the world. And then all of a sudden, you kind of step aside. Your children get older and suddenly they don't need you as much. Like,
Right.
it really is a point where everybody kind of, you stick your head out of the hole like a meerkat. You know what I mean? And you like look around and you're like, wait a minute.
Where'd everybody go?
Where'd everybody go? Wait, nobody needs me? I don't understand. Who am
They
I?
always need you. Somebody
Yes.
always needs you, especially if you're a mom. But
It's true.
you kind of
It's true.
you're left with a little bit more time on your hands, and
Yes.
you're like, what do I do? How do I fill my days?
How do I fill my days? What is my purpose? I think about that all the time. What is my purpose?
I know, there's those books too, like My Purpose-Driven Life and like all the books about purpose. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't know mine. When am I going to know it?
Right. And I do think it's also connecting with what you actually love.
Mm-hmm.
Like from your body of work, from all these people you've met over the years, from all these things you've done and said and been, what do you actually like? What is the kernel of the thing that you love from it that you can carry forward?
I mean, that's what it's all about, is like taking that time, giving yourself that time to like analyze and kind of like look back and appreciate the things in your life that felt aligned and felt good. And then carry those into your present, move forward with those things, because why spend your time in this precious life doing things that you don't feel good about, or you're just doing it for money or to please people?
It's 100% true. I literally I especially loved, well, we're going to talk all about the book, but I especially loved the chapters about aging and about like perimenopause and what that journey is like. That is really a wild ride. But then, I was doing some writing this morning and I just wrote, well, like, even though perimenopause is really hard, it's very difficult, or it's like very topsy-turvy and you don't know who you are and you don't know where your glasses are and you walk into a room and you don't know why you went in there. And then I came home. So I live in New York City, and I came home and I pressed the button on the elevator just before I came in here, and I pressed the wrong button for the wrong floor. And I got off. I was like, floor 13 looks so different. Who decorated it? And I thought of your book, and I thought,
so funny.
You know what? Here I am on the wrong floor for no reason, no appreciable reason. And I'm going to tell Jennie Garth about that.
It happens to me all the time. Something like a version of that happens to me all the time. Like, why am I here? Does anybody know why I'm in this room?
And you're in the middle of the room too. Like, you walk in with such purpose and you're like charge into a room in a way. And you're like, I'm going to do this thing. And so you're right in the center of it.
Yeah, totally.
And it's gone. It's just, and there's just a cool breeze goes through your brain.
Has this happened to you, Sam, where you're like doing an interview, conducting a podcast, if you will, and you're in the middle of a question or a sentence or an answer, and your brain just goes completely blank?
It happens all the time. And I always think about, do you ever think about I think about Broadway actors and I go, what on earth would I do? I couldn't do that.
What would you do?
What would I don't know. I asked my friend that the other day and he was like, I think you just like take a pause and then you remember where you are. I'm like, you clearly, you are not a 56-year-old woman, because I can definitely take a pause, but I'm not coming back to where I was.
No, if you do, it takes a good few minutes.
A good few mints.
Which would be awkward.
Just asking the audience to just take a breath with you. Everybody just take a powder.
Take a moment amongst yourselves, if you will.
We need to talk as a cast about what part I've just forgotten to do. So everybody I
would be so happy to see that, actually.
Turn your ears off. I know. It would really tickle me. It would be a great show. Do you think that? I feel like it is generally, and I don't want to gender it too much, but it is difficult, I think, for women especially to figure out who we are separate
Mhm.
from other people. Do
I
you?
know. I hate to do that. I hate to generalize it, but it is
Right,
really true. I mean, we are nurturers. We're born to create
right,
babies and raise them and take care
right.
of them and give them everything that they need. Like that's just how we're designed. And I
Yeah.
think it is different than men, most men.
Most men. Some I do I feel I have tremendous compassion, I think, for people who kind of because your trajectory, like the work that you've done, it's not a traditional workplace in the sense that you're in the same workspace for 30 years
Yeah.
doing like in finance or whatever. And then so you have more in a way there's more time to reflect when your jobs are varied and you're kind of going
Yeah.
to all these different places. But I do have a lot of compassion for people who kind of like work in the same place for decades and then go retirement day, bye everyone,
Yeah.
see you later, and just wake up the next day and don't have anywhere to go. I think that must be very difficult.
I mean, when you're saying it makes me think of like an end of a life. Like
Right.
it's like a death when you do something with your whole heart and your everything that you have,
Yeah.
and then it's over.
And then it's over. Like, and there's a little period of mourning, I'm sure, in a way. Like, it is sort of it is a rebirth of something. Can you talk about? It was funny imagining you kind of rewatching 90210 under
Mm.
all these cozy blankets.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
talk about that a
Protecting
little bit?
myself.
Protecting yourself with all the. You're like, who was? How long had it been since you watched those episodes, or did you actually watch them when they
No,
came out?
I had
No.
never watched the show. I didn't watch it
Wow.
in real time when we were making it because we were working, crazy
Yeah.
16, 18-hour days. And I would go home and just die and then you'd go to sleep and come back the next day. And I had no life. No, I didn't have like, I wasn't there for must see TV or anything. So
Right.
I,
Right.
it was just such a fast pace all the time. I'd never had a moment to sit down and do anything really. And then when I
Right.
had kids, that like took up any little spare moments that I had of life. And then,
Mm-hmm.
so then when we started to do the rewatch podcast, it was like, oh my gosh, this is such a fun opportunity to give myself this like luxury to sit for an hour and watch a show. And I didn't know how much I would love it. I didn't realize like I'm a super fan of the show that I was on. And I didn't really see that coming, but I'm really invested. We're in season 8 now, so
Right.
I'm kind of sad we're almost done, but it's been really fun to watch and just also very lethargic and also just sort of like part of the whole evolution of
Right.
this phase of my life and looking back and appreciating like everything that not only I as Jennie went through, but I as Jennie went through playing Kelly Taylor on 10 years of those super formative years of my life.
Yeah. Did you remember the plot points or are you able to be surprised? Are you like, I can't remember what.
Oh my God, here's the thing. I have like bad memory issues to begin with.
Okay.
Add that to menopause, and
Oh, God.
I got nothing up there. So
You're like, it's a brand new show.
it's as if I was never there and I never watched it. Everything that I'm seeing is for the first time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then, like the other day, I was watching the show. Brandon and Kelly got back together, and then Brandon cheated on Kelly. And I was like, what?
Oh,
This
my God.
this happened? Like I have no recollection.
It's so funny that it's funny to imagine you watching, getting caught up in the
Oh, I
suspense
get
of
like worked up.
90210. Oh my God. I love that so much.
True.
Do you, it's funny because like you do mention also in the book that we make the 35,000 decisions
At
per
least,
day, at
yeah.
least. Our
Mhm.
brains are incredible.
Yeah, I think yesterday, for example, I was probably like
Yeah.
double that, but like
Okay.
just on average, 35,000, just as like opening your eyes, choice number one, you know?
Right. Oh, true, true. How do you make decisions for yourself now? Like with all of the experience that you've had, how do you weigh big decisions? Or are you good at it? Are you a deliberative person? What does that look like for you?
I used to be much more like reactive, more
Okay.
quick to respond, quick to answer, quick to assume, and all
Okay.
of those things that come with, your younger years and like naivete, I probably, or just not knowing. But now in this phase of my life, I take a beat. I really do allow myself to, even if it feels weird, to just pause or
Hmm.
even say, like, you know what, let me think on that and I'm gonna get back to you. Just so, and also like in an impulsive moment when I want to like respond to an email or a text or
Hmm.
something, I will purposefully like step back and say, let me just give this some time. So I think that doing that for myself, it gives me more clarity to really be intentional about the choices
Right.
I'm making and really be able to like, especially like career choices and things like that, like look, step back and make big picture choices instead of like just those zeroed in the moment kind of decisions.
Right. And how do you weigh? I guess I think about like I think about my time as more precious now. Like I think of time in a more finite way, I guess. Not that it's like looming, but it is sort of looming.
Yeah, I mean, come on, the clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking. And I do put my like any decisions up to a kind of like life's too short test. Who do you consult for your good advice? And do you also have that kind of like, you're like, this would be good, but life's too short?
I mean, I have like a crew of people at this
Yeah.
point because I've really realized I cannot do all of this on my own. Like I can't keep it all afloat without, and there's so many choices, decisions, things flying at you all the time,
Yeah.
opinions, that I keep it to like my long time manager, Randy, my best
Yeah.
friend, Adele, my daughter, Lola, and Luca, and Fiona, all of them. I will go to them for, their thoughts on things or, to see like, what does that look like from the outside perspective?
Right.
And, my husband, he's very supportive and helps me kind of like think things through. And the thing that's so great about him is he's very like even keeled, level headed,
Okay. Yep.
and not, in the industry per se. So that it just gives you like such a real life perspective that maybe
Mm.
in the moment I don't really have access to. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
good.
call on my team all the time.
Do you
I
ever
call
do
them,
something? Do you ever do something that they're like, you should not do this? And then you're like, I'm going to try it.
yeah,
This could be terrible, but I'm doing
there
it.
definitely there have been times where I gather their opinions or their, thoughts on things and I will sit with it and then be like, you know what? I think I'm going to listen to my instinct on this one. And
Right.
sometimes it's not the same.
Right. Like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, tell me what's great on the menu. And they rhyme off all these things. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to have a chicken Caesar.
I don't
And they're
want
like,
any of that.
oh,
But
everything you
thanks.
just took the time to describe. Thank you so much for that monologue. I'm
So
still
funny.
having a chicken
I've
Caesar.
done that. I've done that for sure.
Oh my gosh. I did love, you know what? You know what I really also loved? I love that you talk about imposter syndrome because that is, I think we are underserved when people don't admit to having imposter syndrome. And so I want to thank you for that.
Hey,
Like,
yeah.
don't you find that no one wants to talk about it?
I feel like nobody's like offering it up. No.
Yes, that's exactly it.
And
And
I'm
but it
always,
was,
I'm always curious. Like, I like to ask people, do you have you ever felt imposter syndrome? Have you ever felt like a fake? Or have you ever felt like, oh my God, somebody's going to reveal the true me that's full of doubt and fear? And
yes,
people don't, lead with that.
they
They try
don't
to,
lead with it. Yeah, there's a very like, it's really a culture of like, I decided to do this thing when I was 8 and then I made it happen. And I'm like, hold your horses. That can't be right. So I really appreciate that you do talk about it because I think that I have yet to meet a single person who doesn't experience imposter syndrome. It's so human.
I mean, I haven't met all the people in the world, but there's two
True.
people I wrote about in the book that I've met
Yeah.
that I asked well, actually, I heard Martha Stewart say on an interview with someone else that
Hmm.
no, I've never had imposter syndrome. Like 100%, that's what she said. And
Yeah.
then I actually asked Mario Lopez one time, and he's like, no, what is that? I've never heard of that.
What?
I
Oh,
said, good for you. Wow.
wow.
I
That's,
know.
you know what?
Bless his
You know
heart.
what?
Like maybe, what if there are people that, I mean, maybe there's people that don't feel inadequate or like don't have self-doubt.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Well, we know there's two. We know that there are two people.
Yeah.
Everybody else probably has it a little. And you know what? I'm not sure maybe Mario didn't have words for it, but there must have been at some point he must have just been like taking a shower and just going like, I don't know about this.
I mean,
Also like that you talk about like mistakes that you know what? I do think it's very important. I remember reading Michelle Obama talking about like regrets that she's had, self doubt that she had. And I actually found it to be such a powerful resource because I was like, oh, right. I'm just like Michelle Obama. But, it helps you to just it helps you feel like a normal person. And so I really did like that you wrote about selling your ranch and just kind of like, can you talk about that a little bit for my audience?
yeah, well, I am not an LA person. Like
Hmm.
I need nature and space, like elbow room and privacy. And those are the things that make me happy and animals.
Yeah.
And so I got to the place where I was able to buy a house outside of LA, and I moved my parents there, and I would go up all the time. I had my children there, raised my kids there, running around with free to be you and me. It was such a beautiful time, and I was you know finding myself in a position of uncertainty in life and on my own, and I thought I needed counsel. So I asked, my money manager what I needed to do. And he said, you need to sell the ranch. And while you're at it, you need to sell the house that you just built in LA that I built a house for myself and the girls. And it was actually a show on HGTV. And I was so lost that I did what he said. And I sold
Mm,
both of them within 6 months of each other.
okay.
And those are things I wish I hadn't done. Those are mistakes that I had made. Like I wish I had held on to at least that ranch because,
Right.
that was so significant in my life. I had my wedding to Dave there. Um,
Mm,
and I can, the girls just grew up there. So I really do regret that decision.
right. Right.
It
That's a
taught
tough
me
one.
to not like, listen to other people. I was not in my body at that time, so I wasn't really thinking my decisions through.
Was it a time, were you feeling that too? Like, were you like, I'm doing this, but were, or you just weren't really in your body? So you were like, I feel like something's off.
I
This
guess
is,
if this man knows, my
mm,
finances and he's advising me to do this, it must be what I need to do. But it
right.
didn't feel good for sure.
Oh no. Do you still, do you stock it online
I
a
do.
little bit? Are you like on Zillow?
No, my mom actually, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, she showed up on like at the gate of this place and was ringing the bell. And the lady was like, I'm dying in this house. Don't ever come back. And she was like,
Right.
if my daughter owned this property and, if you ever want to sell it, if you could just, call her
Right.
first. The lady was
She's
not
like,
having
you'll drag me out. You will drag me
it.
out by my
I
feet.
will, someday I'm determined to get that place.
Determined. Oh yeah, you'll get it. You well, anyway,
It's on my vision board.
it's on the vision board. Things change. Sometimes you think you want to be carried out of a place and then you change your mind too. She may make a different choice, and that would be welcome if she did
Exactly.
that. Okay, so so you have an I Choose Me live summit. Can you tell me about that? What it's the
It's,
second one, right?
it's our
You've done it.
second.
It's your second one.
It's so exciting. Like this was something, I started the podcast
Hmm.
and I didn't really know where that would go. And then I
Yeah.
knew I wanted to do sort of a live event that was like bringing the audience in to have like that one-on-one experience.
Yeah.
And I love a good women's event. I love a
Oh,
girls' day out where
yes.
there's like pretty food and beverages and goodie bags and shopping and motivational speaking and inspiration. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, let's do that. Let's make that day happen. And I partnered with the my producers of my podcast, iHeart, and the first one was so amazing. I was terrified.
Right.
'Cause I'd never done anything like that, and I was like the person in the middle of it all. And it went really well. And so a lot of people really connected with the messages from the panelists and the making friends in the audience, that kind of networking feel. And so
Right.
let's do it again. Let's do it. Let's make it bigger and better. So we are doing our second one on April 25th, and
Oh,
I
that's
couldn't be more
great.
excited about it.
That's really fun. That is nerve-wracking, like having a great big party. You're
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh
like
my
having a
God, please.
giant party.
A giant party with people flying in.
Yeah. People flying in and going to great expense to be there.
Yes.
But the
Oh.
first one was so impactful. There was one, we had a cardiologist on one of the panels, Dr.
Hmm.
Kittles. She gave some really wonderful information to the audience. And there was a woman that was sitting in the front row, and she was just quietly taking everything in. And I remember her. And
Yeah.
later that night, she went home from the event and she was feeling some feelings of fluttery anxiousness. She felt like, oh, I'm probably just having anxiety, or it was a big day, it was a lot of
Yeah.
excitement. But she remembered something that we talked about on the panel, which was don't wait. Take yourself to the ER if you're feeling certain things, certain signs. And she did. She took herself to the ER and she was actually having a heart attack.
Stop it right now.
Yes,
Are
it
you
gives me every time I tell
serious?
that, it gives me
Oh my
goosebumps
God.
because
I just got them. That's
I
incredible.
feel like we collectively, she, us, together, we saved her life that
You
night. And
saved her life.
I'm like, okay, well, let's do that again. If that, you know what I mean? Let's do,
I
let's do
think we
that
should have
some
a
more.
second round. Should we come back for more? That's incredible. Oh,
And then
she
talk
has
about
to
like,
come. She has
I
to come
know,
to the second one.
I hope she is, but talk
Yeah.
about like purpose-driven, like
Yeah.
desire to do things.
Yes.
That's
It's
it.
like, I do feel like it's being just in community is actually so, it's not even, you can get, because you can kind of get siloed, like when you're doing a lot, when you're parenting and stuff, and you kind of like forget how to make friends in a way, or you make friends that are connected to your children as opposed to like making friendships that are only serving you as a person. And so like being in a community place with people
Mhm.
is so completely life affirming,
It really is.
right? Like you're just filling your love cup.
I feel like I really experienced that when I started going to Buddhism classes.
Okay.
And it's like a group of, I want to say 50 people in a room, and
Yeah.
you sit and meditate with all these people you do not know, strangers.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yep.
this like peaceful silence that is just like connective. And
Yep.
when you open your eyes after that group meditation, like there's this feeling of just like connection,
Yeah.
and peace is so overwhelming that there's so much power in that, like going and finding your community and remembering how important that is. Because yeah, we
Yes.
forget, like our lives are so tunnel vision on like what we need to do and what we need to accomplish and all of those things and our responsibilities, and we really do lose sight of like, oh, we're just one little part of this whole big thing.
One little tiny, like micro. it's it's actually so hard to even think about without exploding your brain, but it's
Right.
very important to think about
Yeah.
that you're like a tiny part of a larger ecosystem
I mean, when you
of,
step back and look and like pull way back and think
yes.
about the planet Earth and like
Oh,
zeroing in like to the you on the tiniest little blip of a thing on this,
yes.
it's like,
It's wild. That's why it's important if you're in New York just to ride the subway. Because you
just
immediately are part
remember.
of an ecosystem that you have no control over. And you're like, I don't I have no control over this. It's fine. I'm just going to
It'll
come
all work.
here, sit on this subway, and then I'm going to get off at the wrong floor in my apartment. And I feel insane. I do feel like, especially because you talk about menopause and perimenopause, and I spend about 90% of my time talking and thinking about that because I talk about it. I do a live show and I go from city to city, and because I love to talk about it, particularly because I feel like standing in community and talking about that is one of the most important things that you can possibly do when you are in it. So you feel so alone. You can feel so alone, right?
Yeah, I mean, not just menopause, but like life.
Life.
Feels so alone,
Yeah. Yeah.
in your life. When you do like take off the blinders and like look at what's around you, you see the similarities that we're all experiencing as humans on this
Yeah.
planet. Like we're all going through and doing the same things, just in different scenarios and situations.
Yes. And like, I feel like sharing information about that or sharing, I don't know, sharing your experiences
Mhm.
in that realm, I think it's really generous and unusual
Mhm.
to read a book that is so sharing. You're very open about it. Like you're very open about talking about aging. And that's really comforting to me as a reader because I want to hear that. I don't want to hear about, I don't always want to hear that like, it's just like, it's the best years of your life. I also want to hear that it's frustrating. I also want to know that it's frustrating. And we are, and especially, you're in the public eye and people, I think, is it correct for me to say that in some way people feel that they have some kind of like ownership over you? Like they know you from a different time in their life and they're like, I know you.
Yeah.
You're Kelly.
Yeah. I
Which
think
is,
that that's people's like automatic
yeah,
response, but then that's why I like to share like the
yeah,
humanness because I am just like you and like there's so much more to me
yeah.
than that you remember, and let's talk about it because 9 times out of 10 we're going through the same things.
Yes. And I think it's good to what is the word I'm looking for? Like it mirrors a healthy attitude toward the self that I think is very valuable for young women also.
Yeah, I mean, it
Right?
puts you outside of your own head, which I think
Yes.
we spend way too much time in. I know I
Yes.
did as a young person. And even now, like, at this phase in my life, building a brand and really pushing myself to do things that I'm passionate about and building business and, all the things that I'm doing right now, like you can get very like focused on the prize. And
Yeah.
I think that it's so important that like you step back and you remember that that we're all doing the same thing and we're all kind of living through these life experiences, and it feels so much better when we talk to each other about them because I
Yes.
love nothing more than like girl talk and like just getting in there, laying down on the couch, just having like crazy conversations about whatever comes up.
Yes. I think I read a lot about, I mean, again, not to be too gendered about it. I don't want to be too gendered about it, but it is like the way that I talk to my girlfriends is so different from the way that like my husband talks to his friends.
Yeah, that's very
You know
true.
what I mean? Like I'm sure, I don't know if you have the same conversation with Dave, but when he like comes home and he's been out, you're like, "Oh, how's so and so's wife? Like, what did you guys talk about?" And he's like, my husband's like, "What? Why would I be talking about someone's wife?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I talk
Yeah,
about everything."
yeah, my husband's kind of different. He really is so like he loves getting into people's like
Oh,
lives
he
and very
does.
curious, and he loves like talking about other people or asking questions about other people because
Oh,
then he doesn't have to talk about what he's,
okay.
like he saves that.
Okay.
But I think it's so true. Like guys just kind of just like do their thing and hang out and don't worry about
Hang
all this.
out. Yeah, lots and lots of quality time. But the
Mhm.
conversation is so different. Like I just had lunch with my girlfriend and we just sat there and we were like, We honestly were sitting at a table and our bodies got so small and we were just like a tunnel of information from one person to the other. We were like drilling down.
Yeah. Such a
It's
good
so
feeling.
nice. It's such a good feeling. Do you can you talk a little bit about your shift from thinking about the world, or I guess from living in a kind of a scarcity mindset to transitioning to a mindset of abundance? What was that? How long did that take? That's
Well,
a lifetime journey.
I've gone through different phases of that and I've
Sure.
repeated them, like when you're young, you don't think about the future and you just think it's just
Yeah.
all going to be hunky dory and easy. And
Yeah.
then the first time you hit like a speed bump, whether it's, in your career, your relationship, that kind of, you're like, whoa, okay, how do I deal with that? You
Hmm.
kind of learn though, as you go through the ebbs and flows of life, that those things are going to happen. I think like just like a main way to kind of express it is like when, and it's, I don't know if people can relate to this. I hope so. But like when start to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to have enough money to buy these clothes again, like in my closet. So I better keep everything because what if I'm going to need that coat? It's going to get cold and the other one I can't wear the other one or whatever. It's too small. Like I don't, what if I can't buy that again? I need to keep that. And
Right.
so like, or that's just like a general feeling, but like especially with money for me specifically, when I'm like worried and like, thinking about how am I going to pay my bills? When's
Yeah.
the next job going to come in? I get like so wound up and tight and restrict the flow of however that works with the universe and the energy, whatever that is. Like
Yeah.
I feel it, I see it, and it restricts things. And I think that that's like kind of like in general what happens with everything, not just money. Like when you
Right.
grasp onto something and you hold so tightly to whatever your relationship or your feeling needed by your kids or whatever it is,
Right.
then it strangles it. You know what I mean? It
Right.
like there's no blood flowing through that artery at that time. And time and time again, I've come to that point in my life where I'm like, oh, I'm doing that thing again, where I'm like suffocating something in the name of keeping it, but if in fact I'm killing
Right.
it.
Right. This is really resonating with me. I do like, are there acute times where you particularly feel that? Or like, how do you step back from that? And I am asking as a friend because I constantly am like that. Like, always, I think just choking, like, choke holding certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to like drop your shoulders and go, it's really fine. How do you do that? What does
I
that
mean,
process look like?
everything feels so critical in the moment. So like
Yeah.
most important thing ever. But
Right. Right.
if you like take a deep breath and you sit with
Right.
yourself and maybe you just like comfort yourself, however you do that, like
Right.
tapping or like deep
Sure.
breathing, any listening to music, whatever it does that calms your nervous system down. I feel like those kind of feelings only last for a few, honestly, seconds.
Right.
And then your mind is ready to go on to the next thing.
Right.
And I feel like if in those moments we're like, that's happening and we're suffocating on something, if we remind ourselves, this is just a thought, this is not real.
Right. Right.
I don't know. There's just something about, I learned about that in the Buddhism as well. Like
Yeah.
it's called attachment. Like when we're attached to something and a certain outcome or
Hmm.
something that we know we deserve or, some anything, when we grasp something, that's when it starts to consume you and you lead from a fear-based mindset
Right.
instead of like having that open, like just grounded feeling of that everything's
Right.
ultimately going to work out however it's going to work out, whether I worry about it and stress about it or not.
That's a really good point. It doesn't really, if you're stressing about it, actually doesn't release any valve, and it's not going to change the outcome
Right.
of the thing itself. The outcome is the outcome, whether you spent sleepless nights freaking out about it or not. I always think I do my most clenched thinking right before the sun comes up,
No, the 3 a.m.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the sun comes up and I go, oh, those were just 3 a.m. thoughts.
Yeah,
It's really
especially if
fine.
you think those 3 a.m. thoughts and then you might like fall back into a little bit of sleep and then you wake up and it's like, oh, wow, everything's okay.
Why
Look
did I
how
do that?
beautiful it
Oh,
is.
God, we're
Yeah.
fine. You know what I think I need? I think I need a coffee.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Are you a coffee drinker?
No, I like tea.
Oh,
I'm a tea
you're a
drinker.
tea drinker.
Mhm.
And I love that you talk about that because you don't always have to be friends with the people you were friends with when you were in second grade. It
I
really
mean,
is okay.
I don't,
You prune the trees a little bit
you have
sometimes.
to. You have to. I mean, I love roses
Yep.
and you got to cut them back every January and then they come back
Yes.
stronger. Not to say that you have to like cut off your relationships and your friendships every year, but
No,
it's important to like, you got to hang out with people that make you feel better than you do without them, you know?
I agree with you. I say this in my show. I'm like, you've got to kind of let go of people who, when you're with them, they make you feel smaller than you are
Yeah, or just inadequate or
or inadequate.
like too much or too little or whatever it is.
Yes. You want to be around people who are additive.
Mhm.
Being around people who are additive, not subtractive. I feel
Right.
like it's a good conversation to have and it's a good way to just kind of like reflect. I do feel like as I get older, my sphere of people is smaller, but it's better.
Mhm.
It's tighter, it's more supportive, it's just more real.
Yeah, my sphere has always been very small. I've always
Yeah.
been like, had my core people and I, was unable to really trust other people at certain points in
Hmm.
my life and all that stuff, like questioning people's intentions and all that. But
Right.
I'm so loyal and like giving. Like I love to help people with their problems to the point my mom was like this too, like everybody come to me when you need or want
Mm,
or have something you need help with. And I tend to spread myself way too thin. And then I mean I have so little time for myself now as it is,
right.
just with like all the things that I want to accomplish, and then the relationships that are important to me, just my marriage and my mom and my
Yeah.
kids, my dogs. It's all I got. But it's so it's so hard to let go of like the people pleasing of like I've got to show up for them because they showed up for me 10 years ago or they need me and they have
Right.
no one else. All those
Right.
feelings. It feels like so awful, like you're letting people down sometimes, but sometimes you're going to disappoint people. And
Yeah.
and if you're doing it for the right reasons, and also if you this is hard too, like let them know instead of just ghosting them.
Hmm.
Let them know, like, here's where I am right now. And I want you to know that my distance has nothing to do with my love for
Right.
you or my, you know, appreciation for you as a
Right.
friend. But I'm just going through some things or I'm just having to focus something on something right now. And I want you to know that you can always reach out to me, but just know
Right.
that I'm kind of in a different headspace at the moment. I mean, I feel me like the old me would just ghost people and
Right.
not,
Right. Run.
just be like, "Ooh, I don't wanna upset them, so I'll just kind of ignore it."
Isn't it interesting how, like, when you're young, you can think that conflict, that like saying things out loud is going to cause huge problems when actually not saying anything is the thing that causes the huge problem. It
Always, always.
deepens always.
And
Running
it's
from
like
something
yep,
never works.
communication is like the one of the most important characteristics, that we can have, that we can nurture in ourselves because
100%.
in anything, whatever it is, you have to communicate how you're feeling. And you know what? Even like so much as like asking someone for something,
Hmm.
it's just an ask. They can say no.
Yeah.
But also, it's just a conversation. Like, it doesn't have to have all this like weight to it or importance or urgency. Like, it's just a conversation. And
Yes.
let's see what happens, like, as long as we're just being truthful and honest to ourselves and kind and
Yes.
thoughtful of another person's, like, position. It's just a conversation. And I think just like I know so many people who will avoid like the plague having the conversation. And
Yes.
you can see how it affects them. And they just are so nervous all the time.
It's
But
funny, like you see that too when you have kids and they're like, I don't want to talk. I don't, and you're like, they're having a problem with something. And you're like, well, just ask your teacher. And they're like, I can't ask. I'm like, that's the person that you do ask. They want to hear if you don't understand. That's literally what they're there for. I'm like, it's a
yeah.
hard lesson to learn that if you're feeling things, you have to go through the wall. You have to punch through a problem
Yes,
because
you go around it. You got to go through it, of
got to
course.
go through it.
And also the other thing is like, as a woman, I don't know everything. I'm still learning every single day. So I
Yeah.
have started finding people in similar situations or positions, maybe even in my business. And I will like people that I would normally be like, I can't bother them. I don't want to take up their time or ask them
Right.
anything. Now I'm like, hey, so and so, what do you, how would you handle this situation? Or
Right.
what were the steps you took to get where you are now? Because I'm learning and I want to learn from you. And there's something also that's so great about when women lean on each other like that
Yeah.
and aren't afraid to like put themselves out there and feel maybe I'm the first one to be like, you know what, I don't know everything and I
Right.
need your advice.
I
And
think
I
that's
can
great.
take it and utilize it in my life, or, I can sort of figure out that that doesn't actually work for whatever, but thank you so much. I'm, just learning
Yeah.
always. It's been curious.
That is great. It's so important to talk about this stuff. It really like to just we're so taught to be people pleasers. We really are so coached to be people pleasers. And
Yeah.
especially like too in Hollywood, in the performing arts, your whole job is to be a people pleaser, right? To
Yes,
show
you
up.
want everybody to want you, like you, love you, pick
Yeah.
you.
Pick
Yeah.
you. You have to get picked.
You have to get
In
picked.
order, you
The,
have to get picked.
my
Your whole
daughters,
job is,
they like refer to other people sometimes as pick me girl.
yes.
Have you ever
Yeah.
heard that?
Yeah, I have. I
I
have.
think I was a pick me girl. Like I was a definitely when I was younger.
Oh, I was. Yes, definitely. Pick me. I'm the coolest. Look how much I don't care about my own desires,
My own self-worth.
my own self worth. I'm completely, I, and taking on like other people's identities. I used to do that a lot, like a lot of shape shifting, a lot of like, I am so into boxing. Tell me more. Like, what?
It's really
Now
true.
it's so true. Now when my husband's like, should we go? Like, do you want to climb Kilimanjaro? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Have you met
I'm
me?
I'm not doing that ever. You're gonna have to find someone who wants to rough it with you. I'm gonna go to Paris. I'll go partway on the plane, but I'm getting off. You continue on.
I mean, you gotta know. You gotta
You
know what
gotta
you
know.
need.
You gotta know what you need
Yeah.
and what you really don't need. And
Yeah, and what you
like
want. Yeah.
it can take a whole lifetime to learn that. But you know what? At least we are learning it.
Hmm.
That itself is it's such a gift. It's such a gift. Oh my God. This was such a fun conversation. I love talking to you.
I
I
love
feel
you too.
like I filled my little cup. That was
I
really,
know,
really
right?
nice.
I love it. I love it, girl talk. This was really fun.
That was Jennie Garth, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. We were talking about how for the past few years she's been watching 90210 for the first time ever. The show spanned 10 years. I just really was so curious about how many episodes there actually were. Are you ready for it? 293. Oh my God. They simply do not make TV the way that they used to. I need like 280 more episodes of The Pit. Stat. This is binge-worthy TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha B, and we will see you next week for some more choice words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me, Samantha B. The show is produced by Svea Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Ryan Connor. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at RealSamB on Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.